Okay. This final PowerPoint presentation is going to be on Kabuki, which is kind of like Japanese opera or musical theater. And we're going to start things off with the Kabuki video.
Oh, in what way?
Well, Kabuki is a wonderful showcase for traditional Japan, presented seriously and with great attention to detail. So you can actually see how people dressed and behaved long ago. It's living trad Japan, and it's very traditional itself.
Yes, indeed.
Kabuki is a classical and much-loved form of drama, featuring gorgeous costumes, outlandish makeup, and exaggerated movements. It originated in the early 17th century. It's said to have evolved from flamboyant dances performed by a woman named Izumono Okuni. However, the shogunate soon prohibited women from performing on the stage, stating that their sensual dances corrupted public morals. As a result, Kabuki performances became plot-driven, and the unique tradition of male actors playing female roles came about at that time as a way to get around the restrictions imposed by the shogunate. One of the hallmarks of Kabuki is the use of makeup to indicate each character's personality. This is a famous play about the Soga brothers and their encounter with the man who killed their father. The type of white makeup worn by the actor playing the older brother, Juro, tells us he is gentle and good-natured. On the other hand, we know from this over-the-top makeup featuring bold red lines that his younger brother, Goro, is quick-tempered. This style of makeup, called kumadori, uses lines in one of three basic colors. Red symbolizes strength and a sense of justice. Blue means evil, so it's used for villains. And brown is used for a wide variety of supernatural beings. The hot-blooded younger brother and the sensible older brother. In Kabuki, makeup clearly indicates the type of character being portrayed. The memorable poses struck by actors at significant moments, called mie, are another hallmark of Kabuki. Executing a mie involves three steps. First, the actor spreads his legs wide apart and positions his body in the way that is most visible to the audience. He then wiggles his head to draw the audience's attention to his face. Finally, he moves his eyes in an exaggerated manner and then freezes. Because a mie is done in these steps, it creates a dramatic effect. It's not unlike a zoom shot in film and television. In Kabuki, various storytelling techniques have been developed to engage the audience's interest. Today, they are all regarded as unique artistic conventions.
Stuart,
Yeah.
any comments on the video?
Well, the use of exaggerated makeup and mie is an interesting part of Kabuki, originally developed because plays were only lit by candle.
Yes, and Kabuki has always involved a lot of interaction with the audience.
Yes, including members of the audience shouting their encouragement.
Right.
Hiro, the name Kabuki itself is interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it derives from an old verb, kabuku, meaning being offbeat or eccentric. But later, it came to be written with kanji, meaning a song, dance, skills.
And that's appropriate because, like all the other traditional theatrical arts, Kabuki is a form of musical drama with lots of dancing and stylized choreographed movements, most of them decided long ago. That means it's very different from Western drama and somewhere between opera and ballet.
Yes, Kabuki began as entertainment for ordinary people and has now become rather an expensive, high-class kind of event. I think it's interesting that whereas European classical music and opera were mostly sponsored by the upper class, Kabuki was sustained by the lower classes.
Yes. Of course, many kabuki plays include traditional Japanese values, such as giri ninja, which makes the more realistic domestic plays called
Kabuki Sounds. There are the certain instruments and sounds in Kabuki have meanings. So let's take a look at what some of these sounds might mean. So the shamisen is the most important instrument in Kabuki. Imported to Japan around the same time Kabuki was created, it became the main instrument for all schools of music, starting in the Edo period. And in some of the plays, the shamisen can portray the character of the main lead, or the affect, the emotion, the attributes of that character. The suzumi is the central instrument around which the percussion ensemble is formed. Its distinctive pan is a symbol for Japanese culture as a whole. The odaiko drum is used to create various sound effects, such as the sound of rain or the wind. The fast beats used here symbolize the appearance of a ghost. Note how the eerie sound of the flute adds to the effect. The okawa side drum has a sharp, distinctive sound that sets it apart from the other drums with softer skins. Usually the first sound one hears when one enters the theater is the shimi daiko drum, which is used to signal the beginning and end of the performance. Famous Kabuki storylines. Rivalry between two celebrated samurai who are in love with the same woman. The holy hermit captured the god of rain in a waterfall, in revenge for the denial of his imperial petition, thus creating a drought. He is visited by the imperial princess, who cleverly seduces him with her stories and charm. As the hermit touches her against his holy vows, his powers are gradually lost, and she helps the rain god to escape. Here's some more Kabuki storylines. The wicked Soga arrives at a flower viewing riding a white elephant. He attempts to trample the hero, but is prevented when the latter's wife makes a leash of her hair to halt the animal. A tug of war ensues over the elephant, showing the tremendous power of the characters, and the hero is victorious. Kaiji Kaiyo was one of the great Taira generals. He is held in a cave, starved and tortured by his enemies, who also torture his family before him in order to make him give up his allegiance to his people. He refuses all temptations to submit, and ultimately, despite his miserable state, summons his energies to lift a boulder above his head and attack his foes. So the final project of this unit, Japan unit, is going to be to write a scene of your own Kabuki play or create your own Kabuki mask. If you choose to write a scene of your play, you're going to write a script at least 1 to 2 pages long. You may choose from one of the traditional plot lines that I just talked about, or you can create your own. Choose movements to act out your plot. Choose sound effects from freesound.org. Keep your talking to a minimum. Use as much movement as possible to represent the action in your play. So you can describe the action in parentheses, what actions you want your characters to do. If you want to add the mie, that fancy pose that they were talking about in the Kabuki video, I think that would be great. You can add drums, no-kan bamboo flute, and shamisen. Sometimes we like to use the ukulele in class to enhance your performance. And that would be for people who are in the in-class portion. Okay, thank you.